Hey everybody, welcome to Save Point OverCast with yours truly, Yume Sora, and
We got SP Crash here. I just kind of want to go over a little bit of what Save Point is, because I know in the last podcast we didn't really touch down on what we want to do with Save Point in general. Basically, Save Point is going to be our way of getting out media, news, and of course streams to you guys. You know, from us as a group. Of course, while you're only getting, you know, the essence of me, Crash, and also Yume, you will also, of course, end up seeing a couple special guests that we'll have on the show. You'll also see a couple of other people that we usually game with. They'll always come in, show some stuff that they have, or put down potential knowledge about something that they know. So I just want you guys to understand that's kind of the direction that we're going in with this. Of course, it's going to be more as we expand and grow, but we just want to make sure we started out with some podcasts for you guys, so you kind of get an idea of what we've been thinking about, some of the stuff that we're going to be putting out, some of the stuff that is coming out, and basically a general idea of anything that we feel needs to be covered before, of course, too much time goes by. Any speculations, any actual news, everything under the sun, which is why we're called OverCast.
Overcast. Cast. All right, so Crash, this is podcast number 2.
I know, man. Wow.
And
Still going.
let me put my voice on. I've been waiting for this.
Oh my
because
gosh.
we are talking about Final Fantasy 15.
Oh yeah, he's been waiting for this one, right?
Only because, man, I've been doing so much digging on this game because my body and soul is legit ready. It's been ready.
Mm-hmm. For about how much? What, 10 years?
Yeah, 2006 ready.
10 years.
So, man, let's get into it. So basically, yeah, we've been waiting on this game since 2006. Like, I literally remember seeing the trailer 2008, I think. I had to be like in a junior in high school when I saw this freaking cold trailer of this dark-haired guy controlling all these mystical swords, basically out here raping soldiers and flying up walls and yada yada yada. And that was the same time we saw Final Fantasy 13.
We're not gonna go into that.
I'm just saying, like, Square completely trolled us with that trailer, but whatever.
They hit the circle button.
Whatever. So, basically, for like 10 years, for like a good, like, what, I want to say 7, maybe 8 years, where we basically went through the void of not hearing anything about this game, to the point where it was legit to say, hey, so man, I really hope they come out with Final Fantasy 13 Versus, and you're like, what game? That game doesn't exist. It's not happening. To, hey, Square's over here like, yeah, we greenlighted it. This game is actually happening. And it's like, oh, crap.
It was like, wait, what game is this again? And they're like, oh, Versus 13. It's like, wait, this is a thing? Because I'm sorry. When it came out later on in life, as more Final Fantasy games came out, I legit thought that was just like them making Type 0.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's what that turned into? Oh, well, I didn't really think much of it. And then they were like, oh, no, that was this game here, which we will now be calling Final Fantasy 15. Woo! And I was like, so this is what you do. I wasn't a big fan of the name change so much, but I understood why it had to happen.
I understood exactly why it happened.
So, I understand.
Yeah, but it's crazy, man, because it's like every year after they announced that it was actually coming out, well, I think it was like 2013, when they finally did the name switch, or basically said that they were actually making the movie. I mean, not the movie, but the game. It's like every trailer that came out since then, any type of nod that we got towards the game, it's like everybody just basically like shit themselves, because they're like, holy crap, this is actually happening. And they're going to try to make it like that first trailer was, but better. And it's like, man, I hope they do, but it's like, when you think about it in long term, I'm really glad that they actually did make us wait this long.
I'm not.
Only because I really kind of don't think they would have been able to do the things that they're actually putting out in this game then. Like, it would have fell short. Like, it wouldn't have been the potential that they have now.
Okay, I like the way you said that, because see, you said, well, it would have fell short, and I'm more so sitting here like, it could still fall short.
Yeah, it can still
I'm
fail.
skeptical, because, I mean, 13, I know there are a couple of people that like that game.
I mean,
but
don't get me wrong, 13
not.
was okay.
You say it was okay.
It was okay.
I was not
It was
impressed.
okay. Was I impressed? No, but it was
But that
okay.
doesn't mean it's okay. That doesn't mean it was okay. You got to be kind of impressed. I was absolutely underwhelmed.
I guess I only say okay because I actually liked it for its story, but that's just me.
No, see, that was the main reason I hate 13, is because they literally sat you down with the story that was half told before you played it. And literally, if you actually wanted to understand that game, oh yeah, you definitely had to sit down and read everything in the game before you even touched it. And to me, that's not how an RPG should feel. You shouldn't feel like you started off in the middle of a damn RPG. That's how they do movies in very, very limited story action games, such as Heavenly Sword. Now, I liked Heavenly Sword, but that game started off halfway through. Like, you started off at the end of the game, and then they went back and told the whole story up. Final Fantasy didn't even do that. They started off at chapter 5 and just kept going like the first 4 chapters never happened. And then they just nod back to it here and there and here and there. It's like, yeah, you get the idea, but I'm sorry, it gave me no actual attachment to any of the characters, and I just didn't care for it. It was almost worse. I'm sorry, it was worse than Final Fantasy 12, and I didn't care for 12.
Hey, dude, 12.
I like 12 better than 13. I'll say that.
No,
I know you're like, but
that will legit be a day when we just go on a Final Fantasy rampage.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm not even going to get into.
Yeah, big can of worms there.
yeah. We would offend a lot of people, but then a lot of people would agree with us. But at the same time, yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay to offend people on that, because, of course, these are actual opinions. Nothing about what I just said about the games being crap is true besides them being crap. But my actual opinion of why is different. So I don't expect everybody to agree with that. And I'm okay with it if someone doesn't agree with that. I just want people to understand that there's a reason why I say these things. And I can go into it more once we actually go into something like that. But moving forward.
Yeah. So, I don't quite remember what year they dropped the demo. I think it was probably like 2014.
You talking about
the first
demo?
Yeah, the first
they
demo.
dropped it when Type 0 came out,
So that
which
had
is
to
the
be
reason why I got Type 0
I'm pretty sure
first.
it was 2014.
Was it 14? It was 14.
Yeah, it was 14.
I remember it was 14 for a specific reason. So, yes, it was 14.
So they dropped a demo for Final Fantasy 15. Nobody knew what to expect. Yeah, it was literally a big surprise. Like, I don't think I knew anything about it before I launched the demo.
So I knew a little bit. Like, I was going into it. I already figured out, like, before that they were like, oh, well, mainly this is going to be like one of those quote-unquote road trip type games. Mm-hmm. And I was a little skeptical about it. Like, that doesn't sound that interesting.
Well,
and
you knew what it was about. By that time, you got the concept of what the game was going to be about, what the characters were, and basically their beginning and end goal. Yeah.
No, actually, we didn't really fully understand the beginning and end goal yet.
You knew they were going on a road trip. You didn't know where they were going. You just knew they were going on a road trip.
But you didn't know why they were going on that either. Like, you didn't really get that. This is what I'm saying. Like, you knew what was happening for that demo span, but it took a while for us to know.
They just heavily, like, they if you think back, they hinted. Because it was just like, basically, the king wanted them to get out.
Yeah, but you didn't know why.
Of course you did. You really didn't know why until you saw Kingsglaive.
Well, and I was going to get to that.
That's what I'm saying.
I was getting to that. But I was going to wait until we got further down the line with what we were talking about. So don't worry, we're gonna bring up Kingsglaive too because yeah, we have to talk about that.
So you get the demo, and man, when I started that demo, I was actually very amazed. I mean, yes, you had your bugs, but it's like it's a demo. You knew you was gonna have your bugs.
True.
I loved the battle system for that demo.
Let me go ahead and put in my 2 cents there. When it first came out, it was not bad. I had no issues with it greatly.
That was the
but
first
at the
time
same
us
time,
playing like an Final Fantasy RPG game like that, wasn't it? Like,
no, yeah, but see, here's my
action
thing.
RPG.
When I played it, I didn't care for it because of some of the way the combat worked when it first came out. When they brought it, basically
wait, pause. What was the problem with it that you didn't like when the demo first dropped?
It seemed like they were trying to get the combat to flow seamlessly, while at the same time making the combat feel rigid. And I wasn't a big fan of how it felt. I was trying to get an idea of like when to attack, when to defend. It just wasn't clicking well. And I'm like, I see how it could have.
Because it instantly clicked with me. I had to play it a few times, of course.
But you have to play it a few times for it to click. For me, I played it the first time, and it was like, I enjoy it. Remember, I actually had a couple videos that I, threw up on Facebook for those, and it was something. I was like, okay, this is very different. I can't say that this feels like a Final Fantasy game, but I wasn't opposed to it because I'm like, I played other Final Fantasy games where they've completely changed up the game. I was okay with it. But there were bits and pieces on the way that it felt that just did not make me feel like I liked it until a few months later. They came out with the update.
And even though I legit was a fan of the demo when it came out. Like, I literally, like, tossed my dick in the bowl and freaking did everything in that demo that I freaking could.
What type of saying was that?
I don't know, but I came up with it on the spot because that's how I felt.
Okay.
And, like, literally, I did everything. I even had a goal. I was trying to beat the behemoth. At level 45. Level 45. And I'm sitting here trying to beat this behemoth the second time. When they actually allowed him to roam. Yeah. Which was very hard.
Agreed.
So, even with the limit break, I'm just going to quote limit break they gave you. I forgot the name of it. Even
Which one?
The swords.
Oh,
yeah, I'm not even talking about the summon. The summon was, man, I'm not going to beat this thing. All my party members are dead. Hit the Ramu. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what that was. But even with the Knights of the whatever you want to call it, limit break, you slash, you out of MP, I gotta go hide behind a rock, I gotta get my MP back. Even with that, fighting that thing was hell. And it was only because of your party members.
That never changed, though.
It didn't change nothing. It did not.
Because, see, I hear where you're going with this.
But Ignis did start healing more.
Okay.
He did.
When the update happened, this is when I actually was extremely happy with the way the game was going. The combat actually flowed together well. Your jump from offense to defense was perfect.
Yes,
like,
the counters,
I had no
not
problems.
The counters, but the dodging.
Yes.
Like, if you hit the dodge at the right moment, not only did you dodge, but you got your MP back.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
And for someone who's played games where you have to do a lot of that, such as like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, where you have to make sure that you're in and out of combat like that on the fly, where there's no actual issues, I was highly, highly happy with the way they updated it. So that's when I legit got into it like heavy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this demo is so great. I love the way they're doing this stuff. I can actually do this. I went and fought the behemoth, got my ass kicked and everything, and I was happy with the way I got my ass kicked.
And then basically, like, one of the things that I liked about it, because I know where you're about to go. I know exactly, that's why I want to say this before you go there.
Okay.
The one thing that I really loved about the battle system, that I still love about the battle system, is it never feels broken.
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
do I feel like the battles ever do I feel like I'm too strong, nor do I feel like I'm too weak.
Yep.
It's the perfect balance because I can be the best dodger in the world and still get kicked in the ass.
Yep.
So it's like it's great. Like, oh, it's amazing. I just jizzed a little bit, but it's okay.
Oh
I'm
my
coming
God,
back.
it's-
And that's just the demo. Wait until I play the actual game. But you can go ahead and say what you were about to say.
Oh, well, I was going to say, at that point, like, fighting Behemoth for the second time, that's when I really realized how all the mechanics of the game fit so well, and how, yes, even if you are very skilled at doing certain things, slip-ups will get you caught up very, very fast, and your teammates will get you caught up if you do not take care of them. And I was like, okay, I need to figure out how
So now I
to
need a
not have this
strategy.
happen. You have to put in strategy because, yeah, before you're fighting all the other enemies, you're just basically one-man army and everything, and then you fight this thing, and he's out here tail whipping people all over the place. You're watching Prompto get stomped on while Ignis is getting knocked across the screen because he's trying to save Prompto, and Gladios is sitting there like, I'm going to keep hitting him until he dies, and he's just like, oh, whatever, I'm not going to worry about Gladios. You're over here hitting limit breaks, and this is another good thing about the update. They made it so your MP recharges a lot faster, so you didn't have to hide behind a rock like you did. So I'm like, okay, the combat seems seamless. I don't feel like I need to just disengage, re-engage, because then it feels like it's too off. It was like, okay, I do need to stop attacking. I do need to stop using these skills, but I can still be effective in combat.
Motherfucking Drain Blade.
Yes, Drain Blade was the shit. So, as far as that worked, I was out there doing the most impressive fighting I've seen in the game, and I still got my ass kicked.
And you still get your
And
ass.
I was
you
like,
still
okay.
go crying to Ramu.
Yep. And I was like, I understand. I accept that loss. I wasn't happy with the loss, but I accepted the loss because it felt fair.
I did not like the fact that in the new patch that they had for the demo, they also gave you like co-op attacks.
Yeah.
So which was cool. I mean, some of the animations was cluttered, but once again, it's a demo. I'm okay as long as it's legit in the actual game. We're fine. But I was a little upset that you did not get to use it on the Behemoth. At least I never got the chance to use it on the Behemoth. And I was just like, it would have made the fight a little easier. You wouldn't get your dick knocked in the ground as hard. Cause I don't know. I just thought that would have been cool if you did the little co-op attack on the Behemoth and you got a decent amount of damage on. Because when you fight Behemoth, you are there fighting him for at least. I think the longest I fought him for was 2 day cycles.
Oh yeah.
I literally fought him night and day twice in the demo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got his health down to he had like 1/4 left.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, Ignis is dead. Prompto is dying. Gladio still has full health. But once Prompto dies, that Behemoth turns and smiles at Gladio and starts dicking Gladio down. And he can't do nothing about it.
He can't.
He can't do nothing about it.
Because see, at that point, once the Behemoth fully focuses on Gladio, which makes it's so much no sense with that, because he's supposed to be like the tankier character. You feel like he would be the first one down in that situation. But once he gets focused and Ignis is no longer there to heal him, all you see is his body fly across the screen every couple seconds while you're trying to somehow catch the Behemoth's attention. And it doesn't work. The Behemoth is like, I get to you in a minute.
You just wait a second.
You just wait.
Talk to you in a second.
You'll get yours in a second. And then once Gladios goes down and the Behemoth turn to you, you're just like, well, I can sit here and try to be smart about this and run, or I can try to fight it. And of course, if you're like any other gamer, you're going to take the challenge. You're going to go ahead and try to fight it. And there's a high chance you're going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you have to come up with strategy. And you can come up with strategy. And it'll work. But I feel like you'll be better with strategy once the actual game comes out.
Because like I was about to say, I really wish that they patched magic in.
We're gonna get to that in a second.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
actually, we're about to go there right now.
Oh,
so, like,
cool.
yeah, I wish they would have patched it into that demo. But instead, they decided to come out with the Platinum demo.
Ugh.
And
Ugh.
Crash
Just,
was not happy about the Platinum demo.
I still am not happy.
On the other hand, like the Platinum demo, I just
No.
kind of wished it was... I kind of wish it was a little more. I wish it was a little more for me to fight other than that last boss. Because that I would have played it more. Instead, I just keep going back to the original demo, the Duske demo, and fighting the Behemoth instead.
Yeah, because it's a lot better.
It was...
A lot better. A lot better.
No. But go ahead and tell the people why you did not like the Platinum demo.
Okay, let's talk about this trash that they did. This legit Kingdom Hearts ripoff garbage that they pulled that absolutely spits in the face of everybody who likes Kingdom Hearts at that point. And I mean, hey, if you don't like Kingdom Hearts, that's fine. But if you understand how the combat system works, you understand that they just legit tried to throw Kingdom Hearts on top of the first
battle system.
Oh.
Was basically the same. The only difference is you did not have the choice of switching your weapons out mid-battle. He did it on his own, depending on how you customize the weapons.
Yeah, more seamless.
No.
How
because
not?
It's not more seamless for the simple fact that the battle system in Platinum, you decide what weapons, just like the first one, you decide what weapons you want to use, you map them, and during combat, you can switch them when you want to and continue fighting seamlessly.
Okay, let me go back and explaining what I was explaining before you went ahead and went on that rant about that. Here's another reason why I was saying I didn't like the way they set up the combat. And a lot of people may disagree with me with this, but they added jumping. I don't have a problem with jumping. I just want you to understand it. I don't have a problem with a character jumping. But the way they incorporated the jumping, they did terrible, in my opinion, on how jumping attack works. It feels like you're on the ground when you're in the air. It does not feel like you're doing a jumping attack.
Okay.
It feels weird.
So,
and here's let me finish because it's good reason why this is the way I'm saying this. Because while you're doing this, your dodging feels like how dodging and blocking and countering felt in the very first demo before it was patched. It does not feel good.
I know you're explaining, but in the Platinum demo, you had 2 fight experience. Are you talking about when you were fighting the normal enemies before you became older Noctis?
I'm talking about older Noctis at this point. Mm-hmm. Because see, I don't really count the younger Noctis stuff because it was literally just like exploring garbage enemy kills.
Yeah.
But none of the enemies ever posed enough challenge for you to care. But I will say the one thing that I did notice that I did not like from that part is how you have like the sword and then you have the hammer. I understand that the hammer is supposed to be a weapon that's opposed to
your heavy weapon.
Yes. But when you think about how his heavy weapon worked in the first one, even though it was a heavy weapon, you still chained it in a combo form. Mm-hmm. Like you could do quick swings and easily chain it to your heavy weapon, which is why I like that combat system better. This one, you can go in, swing it with your sword and doing those, and as soon as you switch to the heavy weapon, all of the animation stops.
No.
And you go to a basic garbage
maybe with the hammer. With the hammer, yes. There was no free flowing between the rubber sword and the fucking hammer when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. But when he was an adult, you could seamlessly switch that up. You could fluently switch that up. Like it, yes. Like, did you ever go back and play it?
I played it 3 times, and each time I found something else I didn't like about it.
No. And then there was jumping in the first one. What do you mean they added jumping? There was jumping in the first one.
The way they added... No, listen, Linda, listen. The way they added it as far as they made it like this is now a part of something that you have to do in combat. In the other one, the jumping was there, but why would you need to? They made it so it feels like you need to jump now.
You know. What? Huh?
See, this would be the perfect moment if we had more time on this for me to show you exactly what I mean. And we will go back to this.
I wish.
Because this game comes out in a month.
Not once did I ever feel like I had to jump. The only problem, two problems I had with the Platinum demo. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get into discussion in the other one. I still haven't
gotten through the rest of the combat system.
But I know. But the other one we're going to talk about in a second. Mm-hmm. But we're going to focus on the jumping right now. I never felt like you had to jump. The only thing that I did not like is while you were fighting with the short sword, because of where that monster's hitbox was, mm-hmm. it would bring you off the ground. So you ended up fighting in the air.
Yeah.
That I did not like. Yeah. But the game tells you how to deal with that. Because it urged you, and it's not urge. I wouldn't even say urge. But it's like, if you wanted to fight in the air, it told you how. Because if you fought in the air, you can control how you fought in the air. You could jump back while you were in the air. You could go forward in the air. You can go to side. You could literally move around while you were fighting in the air. You just had to put the button input on which direction you wanted to go. So like say like you're fighting, what was the hit button? Circle? So you're fighting in the air and you're hitting circle with the short sword. If you hit circle and went back, he jumped back. And then if you hit circle again to go forward, he went back in. So it's like you could move around in the air while you were fighting.
Because, see, you're saying that, but that sounds more like the first demo.
No, that wasn't the first demo at all.
No, I know it's not. But the way you explained that, you could.
Yeah.
You could.
It was very sluggish.
No.
No. You could not control.
Oh, okay, are you saying you could not control the jumping fighting or just the fighting in general?
You could not control your movement while you were in the air. No, you
while in the air.
Yeah,
okay,
while you were in the air. You could
not. I agree with that.
Yeah, okay.
We're in agreement on that one. But see, then again, this is also what I mean. In that one, in the first one, because you could control yourself so well on the ground, you didn't feel like you needed to jump. Like, you could.
And I get that.
And fighting the behemoth, actually, jumping was actually a good idea for certain things. But it didn't feel like, oh, okay, I'm jumping and now I'm legit, like, freestyling in the air like I'm Sora. Like they tried to make it with this one. I didn't like that. With the other one, it seemed like, okay, I jumped, I hit the enemy, I hit him like 2 times, and then I made it back to the ground. Because physics, in this game, and the way they set it up, seems like it should be like that.
Physics is like that. The only thing is that breaks that reality, that breaks that concept of physics, is he has a blade that he can throw around.
Okay, this is why you didn't let me finish through this whole combat thing, so we can't go to this. So now we have to just keep addressing it as it comes up. The damn teleporting was so much easier in the first demo. In this one, it seems like teleporting to an enemy is an instant way to get your ass kicked. Like before, it seemed like you could do it to pull yourself closer to an enemy. But fighting that enemy at the end, even if he wasn't doing anything, pulling yourself to him and being stuck in the air because of where his hitbox was, it made it a lot harder to decide to do that.
As soon as we finish this podcast, I am going to go home and I am going to play the Platinum demo again. I'm going to download it and I'm going to play it again. Just to go over
he deleted it because it was crap.
I did not delete it because it was crap. I deleted it because I did not have enough space on my PS4.
Oh, yeah, because it wasn't that important.
Anyway.
Still got the other one on your PS4, don't you?
Because I downloaded it for a different purpose.
Oh, because it was better.
It wasn't, man. Anyway, so about the teleporting, I will admit, sucked. Only if you were targeted onto an enemy.
Oh, and see, I hadn't even got back to the targeting yet.
So if you were targeted to an enemy in Platinum, if you did the warp, you instantly went to the enemy. Mm-hmm. But they still had it where that you could still throw the sword around if you wasn't targeted to anything. Mm-hmm. So you could still throw it this way to get out of something. Throw it that way to get out. You still had that free range.
Mm-hmm. Not as free as the first one.
And since we're talking about targeting on things, the magic.
Nope. We're gonna stop right there because I'm gonna go back to the targeting.
Right, we're gonna stop, and then we're gonna go into magic
because this is gonna transition well into magic. Mm-hmm. The targeting.
All right.
It is so much harder to free battle with that targeting, and I'm gonna explain why again. This goes also into the teleporting. You
don't need to target it. You don't need to target when you have a group of enemies. When you have a group of enemies, you're going back and forth. But see, when you have one, that is the only time.
You're not letting me finish.
Okay, all right.
Because you're bringing up an aspect that I wasn't even going into before you.
Go ahead.
I'll address it since you brought this up.
Instead of listening to respond, I'm just going to listen.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. In a group of enemies, yes, you're right. You don't have to target the enemies. And that was also something you learned from the first demo. Mm-hmm. Well, you don't. In the first demo, you could, and it would work out well, because you could still swing around and hit other enemies. In this one, not so much. It pushes you too much towards attacking one enemy, which is okay, but it feels very Kingdom Hearts-ish, but only tighter. And not tighter in a good way, more tighter as in you have less control over how you swung. Now, here's the important part about that. While in a group of enemies, you don't really have to worry about targeting. You could just swing basically in fucking open air and you'll probably hit something at some point in time. In the first one, you still had this, this soft targeting. So that when you do attack at an enemy, it kind of focuses that enemy without you being locked onto it. Which meant the teleport could work by, you just hit this enemy and you just teleport it back to this enemy, where you just launch this enemy in the air, you teleport it back to this enemy, and then you Tempest swung everybody out of the way. Mm-hmm. Trust me, it was some pretty cold moments in the first one. So it made it so you could set things up very, very well based off of the targeting and the teleport system. And it was like OP almost, but without being OP, because you still didn't have the strength to do some of the things that you did, and while doing this, you were completely vulnerable. Mm-hmm. So it's like, go ahead and style, but if you get hit, it's gonna hurt. Mm-hmm. In the Platinum demo, you couldn't style as well. And the only reason why I'm like, you couldn't, is because at that point, you only really fought groups of enemies as Little Knock.
Exactly.
Which, at that point, I can't be completely mad at that. Mm-hmm. Which is why I didn't bring up the multiple enemies at all. Mm-hmm. Single enemies. This is where it becomes hard. Mm-hmm. Because, once again, Noctis has the ability to teleport to things other than enemies, such as walls and high places. Mm-hmm. In the original, it was very easy to teleport your way out just by simply moving your way away, looking at a direction, and it'll tell you, hey, you can teleport. And when you teleport, it'll actually either, depending on how far you teleport it, you'll either still be locked onto the enemy so you know where they are still, or it'll break your lock because you move way too far away. Makes it easy to disengage. In this one, you legit have to completely disengage, completely turn your camera, and then teleport. It doesn't feel like you can get out of a situation fast anymore. It feels very, very slow. So it's like, at that point, if I have enough time to do that, there's no point in me teleporting. I might as well just dodge out of the way and run.
You can still throw your sword while you're targeted onto the enemy.
Not the same way. Yes, it doesn't feel well.
Yes, you can. I know this because remember the move where he sucked you in? Mm-hmm. You could throw the sword away from him to keep from getting sucked in. Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So once again, this is one of those moments where I'm gonna just have you show me, because I'm not saying that you can't.
Also,
but
escaping to get away to high places, I don't know why this was stupid. I agree this was stupid, but they made it where that I don't know how to set it off. Mm-hmm. But I know there was what's the word I'm looking for? There was a thing that set it off where that the warp parts, the parts that you could warp to, like the parts on the building and the parts on the light pole that you could grapple to when you throw the sword. I don't know if it was the carbuncle or you had to unlock something, but you had to either hit the switch or the carbuncle had to do it on its own, where it allowed you to grapple away. Because from the start of the battle, you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't grapple with anything from the start of the battle. But
Mm-hmm.
once you step on a switch or the carbuncle says something, then you can do it.
Yeah.
Because that's how people got to the, like, I think one of the hidden weapons was either, like, the short blades. It was either, like, the short blades of the sword. I didn't get to it either. I just saw somebody get it.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to go to the top of the thing, and it was there. You could fight with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I don't like the controller scheme for Platinum.
At all.
I do not like it. I like the control scheme from Duske.
I do too.
I really appreciate it, and I thought it was very considerate of them to give us both control types.
And I'm still skeptical because I want to make sure that that's happening, because I'm just going to let you know right now, if that is the case, I'm definitely going with the first control scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no questions asked. That'll be the first thing I change before I change subtitles to be on.
Yeah, that's how bad moving the defend button was weird. I hate the fact that they did that. Having it as L1 was great. It was actually, having it as L1 was great because your finger's right there. It's an instant response.
Yep.
Oh, I'm about to get hit. L1.
Yep.
You know. What was I about to say? Magic.
Oh yeah. We're going back into magic.
So,
which,
okay.
You know what? Let me start this one off.
All right.
Because I do owe you an apology, because I know we had a moment where I was talking about how crappy the magic is, and I still kind of think it's crappy, but it's not as difficult as I thought it was the first time. The first time, I'm like, what the hell is this? I have to stop moving just to aim this, which I realized, okay, I could actually just toss it. But at the same time, I realized that magic just feels like grenades now. It doesn't feel like magic to me.
You can't really say that, though, because we was only showcased fire.
No, we had other stuff.
We had other stuff.
Thunder, we had Blizzard, and it all still feels the same. It feels like you're dropping a grenade.
Yeah,
and
but they all had different effects, though.
Well, yes, that's not the point, though. The different effects is great, but everything feels like a grenade.
What do you expect? But what do you expect it to be?
Not that. It feels like, okay, and have you played Gears of War?
I have not played Gears of War.
If you played Gears of War, you would understand what I mean by this. It feels like you're throwing Gears of War grenades. Like, you can hold it, and then you can see where it's going, and then you can toss it, and it's a slow toss, but it happens. Or you could just toss it, and it'll just land in the area. And it's accurate, but it's not accurate when you just don't aim it. So, like, you can launch it and hope that it makes it to where it does, and sometimes it does, especially if you have a particular enemy in mind that you're going to hit, but you can't, it doesn't feel well. Like, here's an even better example. Because the game feels like a knockoff of Kingdom Hearts, you feel like you'd be able to function with magic a little bit better, but you don't. And you hate when I say this, but it's true. Because the Platinum demo feels too much like a Kingdom Hearts style of fighting.
You can't say that because you haven't seen him really handle any other type of magic. Yes, you say we had that other stuff, but those were special effects because they were just for the visual.
You're
of the
saying
game.
Different types of magic.
Like okay, so in Kingdom Hearts when you did a lightning bolt, what did he do? He threw his keyblade in the air and
the lightning bolts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Same thing can happen here. Noctis could throw it in the air. Whatever you targeting, you just don't know.
No, he throws it and the lightning strikes where it hit. This is what I'm saying. Like, he's used that magic and it all functions the same.
I don't understand what you would expect it to be like, though. Whatever he does, it would have been a toss in notion.
Everything feels like a grenade toss.
Okay. Well, then it's a grenade. Okay.
So you have different effect grenades.
Okay, you have elemental grenades.
Yes, that's exactly what you have.
Why is that a problem?
Because it doesn't feel like it should be in this game. Let me elaborate when I say that. It just doesn't feel like you should be having a grenade toss in an RPG style game. If he had a gun, I'd be like, hell, okay. If he was Laguna, all right, works for me. But he's not. He's using a melee weapon with grenades.
But stop calling them grenades, because it's magic.
Okay. Magical grenades.
It's magic.
Does magical grenades work better?
He holds his hand up. poof, there's fire, you toss it. Like, come on. Like, how would you expected them to implement that? You wanted them to just hold his hand out and a gush of fire just kind of just shot out? Like, I mean, what? Like, if it was electricity, I would like that versus the grenade style version of it. But
see, and we're a little different because I like the fire out of the hand, like the flamethrower.
No, because
and
fire
then the
should
lightning
be an explosion.
should strike.
Fire should be an explosion. So if he had lightning and he say like he pointed at an enemy, like his hand out, boom, lightning bolt out of the hand to the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a surge of energy out of you.
Well, no, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that that's a wrong way of saying it, but you see how we have this idea of how magic could be handled differently?
No.
And see, now you don't want to agree with me.
I like the grenade approach.
I don't care
I like
for
it.
the grenade approach.
Yes, a problem Crash was having before was he thought he had to aim the grenades at the enemy.
Well, yeah, when you're in the middle of battle and you hit the grenade button and it stops you from doing
because you
what
weren't
doing.
targeted to anything.
Well, yeah,
so
because
yes,
see,
the aim prompt would come up.
Now we're gonna roll back to that thing. Now we're gonna roll back to the thing about multiple enemies and not targeting them. Now you see why this doesn't seem so seamless.
I don't see why it doesn't seem seamless,
look,
bro.
because you see how you said, "Oh, you have to target this enemy," but before
it
you were like,
makes sense. It makes sense why you would have to target the enemy, and I only say that because
not when it's a grenade toss.
Oh my god,
it's a fucking grenade.
You're killing me.
It's a grenade.
You're killing me.
It's a grenade.
So before, people would be in free mode battle and they're like, hey, I want to throw some magic, and then they're like, whoa, why does this aim screen come up? Because you're not directly looking at something, so of course you're going to give the option to aim where you throw it.
But see, in a situation like that, right? Games implement quick modes for that, where
your quick mode is aiming at.
You're gonna throw it.
Your quick mode is targeted onto the enemy.
But
that's your quick mode.
But why?
So you can throw it at that. See, look, everything in the. Well, I'm not going to say everything because I have not played the game with full use of magic yet. Mm-hmm. But in that demo, you dealt with hordes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So say like you had this one enemy that's running over to a horde of other enemies. Mm-hmm. You see that. But you got enemies over here. You got monsters over here. Mm-hmm. You want to catch that one that's going towards the horde because you want to damage them as much as possible. Boom. Target onto him. Toss that grenade over there and go fight the other monsters.
But let's look at it from this perspective. Because I understand what you're saying. And I'm not saying that you're wrong about saying it. I just think you don't understand what I mean by this seamless combat. Same scenario. You see this enemy running over here, but you see these enemies you want to kill. Right? Mm-hmm. In the first demo, if they set it up the way that they should have, you should have been able to look at that enemy. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they didn't have magic like that. So, going by the idea of how I feel like magic should work, you should be able to see that enemy. And let's say he's moving, but you know these enemies are here. Whatever the magic button is, it's like left, right, whatever you aim it at. Which is another thing that I had an issue with, but it's not that big of a deal. Let's say you had a magic button, and this magic was allocated to this button. Like you had a button that you could hold down to switch to your magic, and every time you press this button, magic comes out. Let's say that you had a button on the controller, let's say something like, I don't know, L2, that'll use your magic, right? Let's say you hold it down. It brings up the aiming mode because you held it down. Because if you're aiming, you need more time regardless. So if you're holding it down for a whole second and an aiming reticule comes up, makes sense. And then you can press another button and it drops.
Why when you can just click the target button and throw the magic?
Because targeting isn't like as simple as like Kingdom Hearts. Oh, I press R1. Oh, it instantly target. Targeting is you press target button. It doesn't automatically target. You have to hold it down for a second for it to target anyway. So why not do it this way? And then you can aim it if you need to do it that way. Or if you need to quick toss it, you just aim up a little bit since it's a damn grenade.
Oh my god.
And then you tap that button and he launches it in the air and you see it just fall on the enemy. Like everything else, even if you don't have an aiming thing, you kind of get an idea how physics in the game works after you've done it for a couple times. So you know just how high you have to throw that to blow that enemy up after a minute. and then as you toss it, you can turn around, and you can continue to kick ass as you see the experience point pop up to let you know, yeah, I got that guy. I didn't even have to look at him. Seamless, quick, easy, no issues. Or you could be like the guy like me, teleport to the enemy. If the teleporting was great,
and then drop it and then teleport back.
Well, no, actually, that's actually genius. So when you think about it like that, it makes sense. But no, I was gonna say see him and just completely smack him back into the other enemies because I don't want him to go that way. You control combat, you crowd control, cattle prodding. You can't act like this ever happened in a game. Think about it. You play Kingdom Hearts where you fought an enemy and you're like, okay, you're too far away. Let me get to you. Let me, I don't know, Sonic Rave your ass back over here. Or let me just triple hit you, knock you back towards the other enemies, and then I can.
That if the physics was a little looser, because it's like you wouldn't be able to just fling over there, even if the what's the name was the same, you wouldn't be able to just fling over there and then smack him back towards the other enemies. Enemies ain't that light. You cut through. Yeah. You don't. You know what I'm. Yeah. So, I liked the I liked the direction the magic function was going in. I do hope they improve on it.
I need them to improve on it.
I do hope they improve on it because if they was to leave it exactly how it was in that demo, I would not be satisfied.
Oh yeah, so now you see why I'm satisfied.
I like the change. I just wouldn't be satisfied if they left it like that. I had the understanding that it was a demo. I had the understanding that this is the direction they're going.
I do too.
But I did not hate that transition once I figured it out.
I guess. I didn't, for the magic at least, I realized I could adjust. I didn't like the adjustment, but I realized I could. And then the other things, I didn't really care for those adjustments.
Once I figured out the way battle worked in the game, the way freestyling and all that worked in the game, how you could start with the short sword, swing, 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 and say like you had enough time to power up a hit. So you swing, 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 switch to your long sword in the middle of battle, charge it, and then smack him. Hit him a few more times, switch to your short sword, shing, 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 bang, bang, bang. Boom. Excellent combo, whatever. He throws a hit at you, you can counter it. Because you could only counter with the long sword. So I liked it. I liked it. I hated the fact that I had to go through the whole damn demo to get to that part. Because to hell with the first beginning parts of that demo. Like I didn't need to see how visually good the game was. I could have went on YouTube and saw that. Yeah. But so Platinum was an okay. I will, just like you, love Duske. Duske was the truth. Yeah. They need to give me that control scheme back in the actual game. Absolutely. And they can have my money. Square Enix, take my money. Improve the magic system. Square Enix, take my money.
Improve the targeting system. Make sure that air combat feels a lot better than what it does. Give me that control scheme back. Some of the other changes I still got to get used to, but I know I can get used to those, so I'm not even going to bring those up. But out of what I said, those things need to change.
Yeah, I hope they make those changes. So after that long rant, because we obviously had different opinions on those demos.
It didn't even have to be that long. You made it long.
I did not make it that long. I just had to make you understand that the things that you were fretting about wasn't really things to be fretting about.
You kind of made it long.
Anyway, so we had those two demos. Okay. Then boom, here we are, 2016. They tell us they were like, no, I'm sorry. When we got the demo, 2014. So somewhere in like 2015, they like, hey, we like 60% done with the game, and we're like, 60%.
Didn't you say 60% like 6 months ago?
Exactly. So there was that, but then obviously it was just them trying to hide the fact that they were pretty much almost done with the damn game because 2016 of March they give us an actual date,
which was September 15th. Hey, what date does that say down there? Boy.
So long time. I mean, short explanation. We go through all that. We get to like July.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we get to August. We get to August, and basically they're like, yeah. So that game that you thought you were getting next month.
Yep.
We wanted to make sure we completely got the bugs out, and not make you wait an hour for an update when you get the game, and just actually give you the game bug free November 29th.
So that's what they said. I'm still skeptical on if this game exists. I kind of think I might be dreaming because, I mean, it's been 10 years and I just kind of feel like this game is like starting to mix between, I don't know, the Final Fantasy game we've been waiting on and Kingdom Hearts, since, I mean, it seemed like they tried a half-ass Kingdom Hearts thing. But no, I'm just being, I'm joking.
It's been gold disted. So there is an actual copy of the game.
Okay.
That is there. Mm-hmm. This is happening. Mm-hmm. November 29th, we will have the game. Mm-hmm. That face. So, it gets pushed back. I try not to think about it for a long time. But we get our release date. Then they start showing us these awesome trailers.
Oh, yeah.
And after seeing the freaking... Was it Lean On Me? I don't think it was Lean On Me. What song was that? I can't even remember.
I don't know.
Stand By Me. I'm sorry. Stand By Me. When they played the trailer with the Stand By Me song and showed Final 15 and all its wonders, and then announced the airship at the same time, after saying... I don't really think we're going to do airships. We're probably just going to wait on that. But we're going to keep it on the table. Then, boom, airships. It's like, holy crap. The car turns into a freaking airship.
Oh, wow. This is news to me. I didn't see this trailer.
The car turns into an airship.
Okay. Well, see, this is something I didn't know.
Yes. I have to show you that trailer because it's dope as hell. Anyway, we see the trailer. I start diving deep into the game itself, and I start to learn a little bit more about the battle system. Mm-hmm. I learned that we have a surplus of weapons we can use.
Okay, yeah.
Ranging from a shield to a katana.
Mm-hmm. Which actually, watching the King's Tale gameplay not too long ago, I realized that he had a shield in his hand, so that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Well, his father, Regis. But,
shields, knives, long swords, katana, probably some other stuff that I have not seen yet, but there is an array of weapons that you can actually equip, and your allies can use different weapons also. It would be like a sub-weapon. Oh. So Gladio has his long sword, but he can also equip a shield and use the shield as a weapon, and the co-op attacks changes based on whatever weapon they're using. So, like, say Gladio has the shield, and you decide to use a co-op with him, you would run into Gladio. He'll hold the shield. You'll jump on the shield. He boosts you in the air, and you come down with a dive attack.
I can see that.
Shit is dope.
Okay.
The battle system is freaking amazing so far from what I've seen. I'm loving it. It's greatness. I can't wait to get my hands on this game and to dig it down as much as I can.
These phrases.
I'm disappearing when this game comes out.
Oh, okay. That's fine. No. So apparently, save point's gonna be just by me for a while. He's just gonna disappear like that. So get used to. Hey Dre,
you got any comments on this podcast? You hear me in the background? Yeah, Sean, give me a minute. I'll be right over there. Hold on. So I'm ready. I'm ready for the side quests. They're talking about the game is going to be main story wise. It's going to be 100 hours. Side quests, another 100 hours.
Wow.
So a 200-hour game.
We'll see. As much as we waited, it better be.
And then on top of DLC, on top of that DLC.
It better be, because, and see, there's a lot of stuff we didn't talk about, and we're already almost an hour in. Mm-hmm. I'm already thinking about how, well, we might just do the whole thing as one. I'm like, maybe we should split this up, and because this is a lot of information that's being tossed out here for just one game. But as you can see, with how long of a development cycle this has had, you see why this lasted so long. It could have probably been, like, I want to say 10 minutes shorter, but you know, that the talk of the demos had to happen. But the DLC, most people were very, very upset when people talk about DLC for games that haven't come out yet. I think people need to really understand that this is just going to be something you're going to have to deal with. Mm-hmm. So we already knew it was going to happen, but I don't know. I know each character is supposed to have their own particular DLC that's supposed to go in, and I won't go into too much detail with that. But the main thing I want to bring up is the trailer that they recently released. It I think is going to be Noctis's DLC.
Motherfucking Omen.
The Omen trailer. If you have not watched the Omen trailer, go watch it. It's actually really, really good. I was highly impressed with the visuals that they put out for it. It seemed whatever's going on is going to be very, very interesting. And I also want to point out the fact that Noctis has officially pulled a Cloud move. Like, I know a lot of people hate Cloud and blah, 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 but if you've actually ever played the game, because half the people that hate Cloud probably didn't play the game, you'll notice something major about the trailer, and that is, at the end, it seems like Noctis kills, I forget her name, wow. Luna, thank you, Luna Frey. It looks like Noctis kills Luna Frey. And if you've played Final Fantasy VII, it kind of reminds you of how Cloud had that schizophrenic stuff going on with him, and he legit kicked Aeris's ass. Aeris, whatever. I say Aeris because, you know, American and blah. But kicked Aeris's ass at the bottom of the hole in the Temple of the Ancients. It seems very much like that.
That does seem like a huge nod to that.
It seems like an extreme nod to that. And I don't know if anybody
there are a
really
lot
noticed.
of nods to 7 in 15.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So it's like, I wonder if that is going to be like a same situation as like Noctis going to have like that split personality thing going on. I hope that's not the dynamic that they're going to go with, but I really, really am interested in how that whole thing came out.
My thing is, with this trailer, they hit me so hard to the point where it's like I thought I understood exactly what the story was after watching Kingsglaive and then reading up on the game. I literally thought I knew the game inside out and what it was going to be about. And then I see this trailer, and I'm like, yo, why the fuck is this happening?
Yeah. and I know, like, in the beginning we said we'll talk about Kingsglaive. We're going to very, very lightly touch on Kingsglaive. We'll actually do another podcast specifically on Kingsglaive because touching on this lightly, I will say if you are interested in this game and you have not watched Kingsglaive yet, go watch it because Kingsglaive actually explains exactly why the game starts. Like, you see where the war is coming, how the war began, how Luna got into the situation that she got into, where Noctis was, and why they're on this road trip. It explains that whole situation in a very, very good manner. The only thing that I will say, without getting too far into it, is there are particular characters from the Kingsglaive movie that I'm hoping they will actually address in the game.
Yes.
Because if they don't, it's going to very, very much upset me.
I'm going to need some nods.
Because these were very, very important characters to how the game started. Mm-hmm. And I know since you're going through Noctis' story, it's probably not going to be as forefronted as it should be. But there needs to be a good amount of explanation with some of the stuff. But I will say Kingsglaive was very, very much a good start to figuring out the game. See, if Final Fantasy 13 did something like this, maybe I would have understood the story a little bit better. I won't say I would have liked the game so much better, but I would have been more accepting going through it. Because I'm sorry, some of those characters in that game I just did not like.
All-time favorite was still Hope.
And as you can see, he brings up the worst character. He also likes Ken from freaking Persona, which is also one of the more shitty characters.
I don't like Ken.
Whatever.
I don't hate him.
I hate him.
I don't hate Ken. I did not like him in the game. I didn't hate him. Just saying that.
Okay.
Hope was a bitch, but he manned up.
No, he did.
Yes, he did. Anyway.
Barely. You call that manning up.
So, after everything we just discussed, thoughts, opinions on how you feel about this game that we are finally going to receive November 29th.
Well, I will say that I am actually excited for it. Since there's not really much else coming out, like RPG-wise or anything that might take a lot of time, I feel a lot better about it right now. Watching the trailers, I definitely feel a lot better about it. I'm skeptical about the combat still. Like, when I thought I was secure in the combat, they changed it up on me. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about the combat yet. I have hope that they'll fix some certain things, but at the same time, I feel like I'm going to have to get used to something that I really don't want to do, which may turn me off of the game. That'll be like the sad part about this game for me. But I'm going to buy it. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. A lot of people shit on it just because it's Final Fantasy, and some people were like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Final Fantasy is bad, and this game is good, and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, shut up. Just play the damn game if you want to play it. If you don't play it.
It doesn't matter because you're not going to finish the game any damn way. So,
you know what? You know what? It's okay. I'm not even going to give that a response right now. I'm just actually glad. And you know what? You're telling me that. And I'm like, you may not even finish it anyway, or finish it before me, because apparently you can't wait for another game that's coming out in February to come out, and you might have to go out and buy an imported version. Why? Because you have no self-control.
I'll play them both. I'm not missing out on Final Fantasy 15.
Well, we won't be seeing him on the podcast if that's the case. I'm just letting you know right now.
We're not going to see
It's going to be very, very... Well, we won't be hearing him on the podcast. Whatever. I don't... You see, you're being very, very technical right now. We usually aren't. I don't need this from you right now.
But, I mean, as for me, I'm ready. Like, bring it on. I'm, like I said, numerous of times, I'm putting my dick in, out, and all around this game when it comes out.
He doesn't stop with his
verbiage. Look forward
wow.
from some Let's Plays from me. I wouldn't even call them Let's Plays, but, you know, I'm throwing up some videos of some gameplay. I'm broadcasting and all that. So, look forward to that from me. Yume Juice Master. You already know.
Look forward to me actually giving a nice review of this game, because if it doesn't meet my standards, I am going to light this fucker on fire.
You're going to find a problem with it. I found
a problem with a lot of things.
You're going to find a problem with it. It's just, is it going to be a problem that's going to make you say, I'm not going to play this right now, and then it'll be like Uncharted 4 or Last of Us?
See, you said that like I had... Time out. You said that like I had a problem with any of those games. I had a problem with Evil Within, but they fixed that later, but I just never went back to it at that point because of you, actually. It's your fault. You want to know why it's your fault? Because do you remember what we played after that? Do you remember the game that I didn't want to play that we played after that? That we played for far too long?
What was it, Destiny?
Absolutely. So... I'll play this game. I know I'm going to play this game. It's a little different. Will I finish it? Well, I hope it doesn't disappoint me. The other thing that I really hope is that they don't pack too much information at once where I kind of only have to focus on this game, because that was a reason why I didn't get a chance to finish The Witcher, and I absolutely love that game. Which you should still buy that game.
I'm getting to it.
No, I'll put it this way. You have to buy that game before you buy P5. Well, an imported version of P5. You can buy P5 when it comes out. I have no problem with that. But if you like, I need to buy an imported version of P5, no. You have to play Witcher 3 and beat that before you decide to do that. Because see, if you do that, I have nothing to say to you.
Okay. All right then.
I have nothing to say to you.
The Witcher 3 it is.
Okay. Cool. Cool. See, this is how you put people on good games. challenging them. Because that game is amazing and you need to play it if you haven't.
Well, it seems like we pretty much talked about everything we wanted to go over today. I wish we had a little more time because there's a few other things I wanted to go in depth with. But we'll
probably have a supplemental one.
It's just that we've already pretty much hit the time limit we wanted to hit.
Well over.
On this podcast. So we're definitely going to have to do it another time.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that, once again, this is OverCast. This is Yume Sora.
And SP Crash.
And we will be crashing on out this bit.
I like how he's still trying to come up with, like, ending phrases. But you know what? At least he's trying. Yeah. We're just going to end right there before you try it again.
Goodbye.